Goodbye, Mom. No, what am I saying?
What, this? It's nothing. Really, it's nothing, Ed. It's just, it's just Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Have a good time. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened.
Okay, you little bastards. The time has come. The moment we've all been waiting for. It's the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve a la Brewski. Let's go.
Let's go. We get the party started, and welcome to the podcast one. Welcome to the podcast all, the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve a la Brewski. Another exciting episode is forthcoming.
Right. You get 3 hosts for the price of none, because we're not making any money on this. We're not charging you.
Yeah, and even if people offered us money, we wouldn't take it. We do it for love. God.
Just call me, though. I'll tell these other two. Find us on the interweb, thevocalminority.net. And social media is going crazy. YouTube and TikTok are the biggest for us right now. But Facebook's cool, and Instagram, I guess. We're on Reddit, so find us on all.
Yeah, the Reddit folks are hitting big.
That's right. And we do have a new complaint line, comment line, whatever you want to call it. If you're a person enough to step up and use your telephone as a microphone and call us, it's 844-48-VOCAL. We did have someone do a video response to us on TikTok this week, but I couldn't even get that guy to pick up a freaking phone and call us. He was willing to put his face on video, but not pick up a phone and call us. So.
I saw that, dude. Yeah, I mean, it's good that people are duetting us or, making comments on us in video. So spread it like we used to say, spread it like SARS. Now you can spread it like COVID, whatever you want to spread it. Oh, like disinformation? Spread us, dude.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's more
gonorrhea.
So.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, find us on the interwebs. All right. We got stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about bad people. We're going to maybe talk about some laws we're all breaking. But Nick and Brewski and I are big fans of pop culture in general, certainly a lot of classic 80s movies. And one movie that we have all universally loved was Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Ghost.
No, not so much Ghost. But,
Okay,
I mean, that's a classic movie, too, I suppose.
But Roadhouse is Roadhouse is king. I mean, that's what we say, right?
Yeah. I mean, Dalton is a classic character. I have quoted the whole, you got to be nice until it's time not to be nice. Sales meetings and relationships.
Sam Elliott was it shows you how to be a great compadre in that movie, dude. A friend that'll back you up through everything. There's relationship in there. It's just a great movie. If you haven't seen the OG Roadhouse, it's a classic.
It is. And as with everything nowadays, it has, of course, been remade. It's on Amazon Prime, new version of Roadhouse starring Jake Gyllenhaal. I watched it the other night. Brewski, I know you had mentioned it's getting all sorts of criticisms online. So I was just curious, from Nick being a Roadhouse purist, what was your thoughts on the remake?
Start out by saying that I knew this film was coming for a while, but right before its release, Stern had Jake Gyllenhaal on and interviewed him, and they talked about a lot of stuff, but Roadhouse being the main theme of why he was there.
Yeah.
So I'd heard a lot about his preparation, what he had to do to get his body in shape for this, and it enticed me even more to watch this movie and see it.
He was certainly in good shape. That is true, yes.
He's in phenomenal shape, and my mother watched this movie and made comment like, was that CGI or was that real? And I'll tell you, just from listening to the Stern interview, Jake Gyllenhaal spoke of this thing that they did where when you would see him and look at his abs and his arms and everything, sitting in a chair like a close-up. Yeah. Those moments took place and lasted for a total of 3 minutes. That it took like 4 days to prepare for, eating like a high salt, high sugar diet, cutting it off on the last day. And then they had about a 4-minute period that his body looked like that they would film. So, yeah, I mean, he went through a lot of different bullshit to figure it out. I was enticed to see it even more.
Well, and I'll tell you real quick, all the Marvel movies, there's a scene in every Marvel movie where one of the guys is shirtless, whether it's Thor, Star-Lord, Spider-Man. It's It's in everyone's contract, right? And I didn't realize what hype is. They plan the filming schedule around that day, the shirtless guy day. And these dudes, not only do they go through months of prep and working out, but they all have this dehydration trick where for like 48 hours before that big day, they stop drinking water because then your skin starts to contract around your muscles and you look even more ripped.
And they consume salt during that time period.
Right. And they've said it's so unhealthy. I feel horrible after I'm done filming. But yeah, that's what they do. And I do start to wonder, if you can CGI the Hulk with his big muscles, why are we doing this to Chris Hemsworth or whatever? Just CGI the six-pack in.
Right, yes. I mean, it is a magical movie. So then on that interview, it was the first time that I heard Conor McGregor was going to be in the movie as well, who, for those who don't know, probably everybody does, but you big UFC guy, okay?
Yeah.
I watched the movie, sit down, I'm excited. I'm watching it by myself because I don't want any criticism, like this movie's cheesy or what, so I'm watching it. And I got about 30 minutes into it, and my eyes started dozing off. I was getting so tired. I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm not sure if he was the right guy for it, because he was no Dalton. Patrick Swayze had an air about him in that movie that he was kind of a quiet or nice guy, but like Steve mentioned, could be a fucking asshole if he needed to be and take just about anyone out.
Right.
I didn't get that
was
vibe.
A little goofy in this movie, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a little goofy. Almost. I thought, are they trying to make him like the guy in Grand Theft Auto? Like, wearing the Hawaiian shirts and, being that, kind of guy. I didn't like it. I wanted to turn it off, but I finished it. I wasn't a fan. I thought it didn't do anything good for the first movie.
Yeah. So here's my take on it. I thought if it wasn't called Roadhouse, if it was just that movie, I found it mildly entertaining. Bar fights movie, dudes fight. It was all right. But as a Roadhouse remake, I just thought they missed the mark in 100 different ways to not honor the original character. There was no Sam Elliott. There was the older, wiser guy. Why did they have to rename the Roadhouse from the Double Deuce?
I don't know, dude.
The Double Douche.
And yes, his goofiness, the Hawaiian shirts. The other thing that really bothered me was the Patrick Swayze Dalton. He was haunted by the fact that he had to kill a guy once in a bar fight because the guy took out a gun. So he ripped his throat out, right? And he was haunted by that. But the Jake Gyllenhaal character was a UFC fighter that just snapped in the ring and killed one of his friends. Like, there was no self-defense. There was no tattoo. He just lost his shit and killed a guy in a UFC fight.
Right. No moral conundrum. He just killed somebody in the ring.
And remember, wasn't Dalton, didn't he have a master's in, like, philosophy or something like that from NYU?
Yes, he was a thinking man. Yes. And I hate that they gave this new Dalton a first name, by the way. Why did they need to give him a first name?
Oh, why?
And a stupid first name. Elwood Dalton?
Took the coolness factor away completely from a one-word last name. Come on.
Yeah.
Are we sure, though, that Dalton, that might have been his first name?
I think his name was Jack Dalton.
Oh, really? Because I always thought it was Dalton, because there was a guy years ago, ball player named Dalton Jones. So to me, it's possible that could have been
it could have been first or last. You're right.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
they connected the dots in this new one. They gave him a full name. And I was like, Dalton was so sort of mysterious and badass and all that. And did you notice the bookstore or whatever next door? There was a restaurant next to the bookstore called the Double Deuce. Like, why didn't you just name the freaking club the Double Deuce again? I don't get it.
I wonder if they couldn't. Wonder if it was, trademarked or something.
Well, slipped it in the movie. So
but here's the thing, though. There are plenty of people online who sell bootleg versions of the Double Deuce T-shirts.
Yeah.
So the trademark can't be enforced that tightly, because there's so many bootlegs out there. I bought one, so I know.
Yeah, I mean, they clearly bought the rights to the original story, so I can't imagine why. They just changed things that I was like, why did you change that if you're trying to recreate the first movie or whatever?
Listen,
I will say, though, I thought Conor McGregor, I mean, he's no actor, but the character he was playing, I thought he was pretty good as far as a psycho, evil, muscle-bound dude. I don't know how many shades he's got in that character, but I actually thought he did pretty good.
That's just him.
Yeah, that's
he's just
him.
being himself.
Yeah.
Probably, and some actors are like that, but I thought he was actually a pretty intimidating bad guy.
If you know much about Conor McGregor, you know that more than even being a good fighter, he's a hype man, one of the best in the biz. And he came out and said afterwards, as he was doing his interviews for the movie release, that acting is 10 times harder than UFC cage fighting. And critics are coming out and being like, you moron, you train for these fights for months, put your body through all these physical things, and then go get beat up. Your last fight that you were in, you broke your leg in the ring. You're hyping this up to get people to watch it, but
that may be harder than acting. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think he paralleled who he was. I mean, that's Conor McGregor.
Well, just so you know, before he became a professional fighter, he was a plumber in Ireland, and he was also just a guy that got into a lot of bar fights and that sort of thing. And then he was kind of like, I'm pretty good at this fighting thing. And that's when he started to train to fight and that sort of thing.
Right.
He's continued to do those bar fights too. I mean, we saw 3 or 4 years ago that he beat up an old man in a bar. That's who he is. So I don't think he really had to act a whole bunch.
I will predict that Conor McGregor will now have some sort of movie career as the muscle-bound bad guy or something. But I do like Gyllenhaal. But you're right. I don't think he was the right pick. The goofiness of the character and all that. It was, like I said, if it wasn't called Roadhouse, then it's probably a fine movie, I guess. But it fell short of the iconic Roadhouse from the 80s. So.
It's the same thing that happened with the Karate Kid franchise, dude. I love the original Karate Kid until it got up to Karate Girl and the Hilary Duff version. I thought that was trash. Hilary Swank, thank you. And then, all these with Jaden Smith and everything. I was talking to my niece a while ago, and I was saying something about Mr. Miyagi, and she was talking about Jaden Smith. I was like, you have not seen the Karate Kid, damn it.
Yeah, that's the problem with these remakes. Sometimes it's a good idea to re-honor a classic story, but boy, when you miss the mark, you just miss it all over because the original fans hate it, the new fans miss the point, and so.
My question is the cupboard that bare in Hollywood? Are there really no good scripts out there at all? Or are these movie studios just put it out because they know it'll make money for them and that people will watch it and that sort of thing because it's like the name you know?
I think it's the latter.
100% what it is. For better or for worse, the movie business is a business, and big companies hate it when they put up $200 million and a movie just flops at the box office. So it's well known in Hollywood that if it's a sequel or a remake, you're guaranteed X amount of money to come out of that. Yeah. And then if you then do good, that you'll, of course, make all the money. So I'm not condoning it per se, but they're a business, and they figured out that if you remake or do sequels, you're going to make money. So
you've got all kinds of people in Hollywood, the OG, Matt Damons and Ben Afflecks that are writing quality dialogue driven movies that, are going to be fantastic that never get, it's like a street busker that never gets noticed. I mean, there's amazing musicians that we'll never hear of,
Yeah. There was an era where they were offsetting. They would do superhero movies because they know it made a bunch of money, and that would allow them to experiment or do an artsy film. But that seems to be tipping completely the other way, where it's just remake superheroes. And,
you know what it is? It's COVID. There was nobody going to the movies anymore. Yeah. And they weren't making the money also. So I think that's what it was. It's COVID.
Can it also be that America is dumbed down significantly in the last 5 years? That we like this trash. There's so much political stuff to hear, things to keep up with it. I just want to put my mind on cruise control and enjoy some trash,
It's the chicken and egg. I don't know which one came first, us being dumbed down or them dumbing us down, but
right.
It's where we are. But I do think Conor McGregor was a good bad person.
Are you saying that to just not get beat up?
No, I'm throwing you a segue. We're talking about bad people. Conor McGregor is a bad.
Let's talk about some unmistakable signs that someone is genuinely a good person. Which Steve thinks Conor McGregor is not. So,
no, honestly, this topic of what's your list called? What is it? Attributes or whatever of a good person or a bad person?
It's unmistakable signs that someone is genuinely a good person. Okay. Genuinely being the key word. Okay.
I am curious to hear what this list says because I feel like anyone in the mega world is just a bad person. So I want to see if they hit any of these things on the list. And
right.
personally, I've been out there telling women in my dating world of late, like, hey, I'm one of the good guys. So I'm curious, do I fit some of these profiles, or am I just out there confusing and manipulating myself that I'm not a good guy at all, actually?
Well, like you've always said, I mean, are you doing yourself good or damage? Because that's what a bad guy would say, right? Like, I'm one of the good ones.
I've had to have that speech on some dates of like, I want to tell you I'm a good guy, but that's what the psychopath would tell you. So, society has painted the good guy into a corner for sure.
Unmistakable signs that someone is genuinely a good person. The article opens up with, in the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to get caught up in our own worries and routines, but sometimes a kind gesture or genuine smile can break through the noise and remind us of the good in the world. These moments and connections often come from people who possess a special quality. It's called genuine goodness. There's a lot of people that can act like they're pretty good, but, when you're alone, how do you act? Are you still kind?
I'm curious if you score 100% on this, because Brewski and I have said this many times that you're an inherently good guy, and I've been with you in public so many times where people just start chatting with you, and they're like, I don't have that gift.
I'm approachable for sure, but I think we're all pretty good and genuinely good people on this show, or else we wouldn't be hanging out with each other. So
let's just wrap up the show right there. I'm a good person.
All right, it's been certified, dude. First thing I'm going to say is consistent kindness, okay? That's what they talk about. Good people radiate a genuine warmth that extends far beyond forced pleasantries. They treat everyone with dignity and respect, from the barista making their coffee to the cashier at the grocery store. Their kindness isn't conditional. It flows freely, regardless of social status or circumstances. You can count on them to hold the door open for someone struggling with packages, offer a seat to someone who looks tired, or lend a helping hand without being prompted. That is consistent kindness.
Well, I feel like there's a caveat there. I am consistently kind, just in general in the public and whatnot, until I figure out that you're a Trump lover, a MAGA person, a homophobe. Like, do I really have to be good to everyone out there to be a good person?
Well, I don't know. Are we going with the way we feel, or says you have to be unconditional with your kindness, which I feel like, that's, they say Jesus was unconditionally kind, and no one's perfect. No one's Jesus. So can anyone live up to this?
There was no mega people back in Jesus' day. I wonder how he would actually deal with them. But I'm asking for our take here. I know the article says unconditional, but can you really be unconditionally nice to everyone?
I think it's impossible, dude.
I agree. It's impossible to be nice to everybody. And if I may, maybe Pontius Pilate, he could have been considered MAGA back then. He's the one that crucified Jesus. So,
Yeah, that was the MAGA of the day. So, yeah, I don't think it's possible, dude. I think that it is possible to try your best to be kind to everyone, no matter the circumstance, but I don't think it's possible.
I'll give everyone the benefit of the doubt generically in public. I'll hold the door for someone. I overtly am thankful to the waitress or the barista, all that kind of stuff. But, should I have been nice to Hitler? Should I be nice to everyone? Know someone's a bad person. Come on.
This list of unmistakable signs that someone is genuinely a good person says this is very important. Forgiving and forgetting. Holding on to grudges is a heavy burden. Truly good people understand the importance of forgiveness. They don't let resentment fester. They strive to forgive others who have wronged them. This doesn't mean forgetting the offense, but rather choosing to let it go, negatively moving forward. They understand forgiveness as a gift they give to themselves.
Yeah. So first of all, the MAGA crowd is over too. Because they're generically nice to everyone. They're generically assholes to everyone until they figure out if you're also MAGA. Then they're cool to you.
Yeah.
And not holding grudges and not having political vendettas. We know MAGA's not very good at that.
Yes.
But that's a tough one. I've struggled. I would like to think that those that I have some level of a grudge against were really terrible people that did really terrible things to me and or people I care about.
I've never understood, and maybe it's just, I don't know what it takes to do this. I've never understood the people that will speak at jail sentencings with, people who murdered their child and stand up and say, I forgive you. Like, I don't think I know at this stage in my life, I don't have that in me. I could never do that.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Absolutely. That's funny you said that example. I was just going to say the same thing. I mean, I've told some people before, like, you know what, I'll forgive, but I'm not forgetting.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's truly letting it go, but aren't you stupid if you don't, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me? Like,
this is saying that you can not forget, but you need to forgive. And yeah, that is a good distinction to make. Like, if you're still holding on to it in some way, are you truly forgiving? But you're an idiot if you forget. Like, even the smallest things of like, I remember the way you treated me after I did that. I forgive and I forget. So it could just, as a perpetual cycle.
Yeah. Having said that, I've learned through therapy and through practical applications in my life that holding on to that hatred, it really festers with you more than anyone else. I mean, you're really damaging yourself more. So I would say there's some acceptable window if somebody's screwed you over to probably hold on to a little anger. But boy, you can't let that fester for months or years in your life because it really does do you ultimately more harm. I think for some of the big offenses in my life, I get a little retribution and then I let it go. I got to get a little comeback.
Sure, it takes a little time, dude. Come on. These are unmistakable signs that someone is genuinely a good person. Integrity and honesty. I think we can all agree with that one. The foundation of trust is built on integrity and honesty. Genuinely good people are truthful in their interactions and keep their promises. They don't exaggerate stories. I'm out. Okay.
For entertainment purposes.
Well, I mean, I do it all the time. I don't think there's a story I've told the same way twice in my life. Okay. Spreading gossip or engaging in deception. You can rely on their word as solid gold, knowing they will follow through on commitment and act with fairness in all their dealings. This is unwavering honesty.
Listen, one of your commitments to all of us is to be entertaining. So I feel when you hype a story, I don't think you're trying to bullshit us or manipulate us into something. I think you're just trying to be entertaining and keep the story flowing. So that's good. And certainly the mega crowd does not have integrity in anything they say or do. But I think all three of us have a pretty high level of integrity and honesty with those in our circle and those we care about.
Yeah.
I'm been honest with the people I hate. I hate you for these very specific reasons. So at least I'm honest about that.
Yeah.
It comes from a good place for Nick. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's
it comes
right.
from a good place. When he exaggerates, it comes from a good place.
Right.
That's right. I'm not trying to deceive you. I'm just, like Stephen Brewski said, I'm trying to entertain you. So.
Yeah.
You're doing the Lord's work.
Someone has to.
Unmistakable signs that someone is genuinely a good person. Empathy and compassion. Truly good people possess a deep well of empathy and compassion. They can see things from other people's perspectives and genuinely care about their feelings. They're attuned to the emotional undercurrents of a situation and can offer a listening ear. A shoulder to cry on, perhaps, or a word of encouragement. They celebrate successes of other people and offer solaces in times of hardship. This is compassion. This is empathy. Do you have it?
That is the textbook difference between liberals and conservatives. Liberals, I mean, why should I care about gay people or minorities? Or, I mean, why would I care, right? But
yes,
I do, because I have empathy. That is exactly what's missing in the MAGA crowd. They don't care about anyone but themselves, and Trump more so than anybody.
Yeah. It's interesting, dude. I've had conversations with people I care about in my life that are conservative like this, and I don't see empathy or compassion from them top of their list. Top of their list would be, I want to keep all my money, low taxes, stuff like that. And whenever I bring up the fact that, like, yeah, that's where we differ. Like, I will have more of my money taken to make more people feel good. Oh, you're a fucking socialist. It's not what I said, dude. It's not my priority to keep all of my money. My priority is that we are all happy on this spinning rock to a certain degree.
Yeah. What's that thing? The rising tide lifts all boats. I mean, isn't that the idea?
Yes.
No.
These are unmistakable signs that someone is genuinely a good person. Respectful communication. This is a great one. Good people know the power of words and use them thoughtfully. They communicate with respect even when they disagree with someone. They actively listen, avoid interrupting, and consider the other person's point of view. They express their opinions clearly and concisely, focusing on the issue at hand rather than resorting to personal attacks.
Listen, I mean, maybe if you take this show out of all of our lives, because we all, turn things up to 11 on this show, that's a hard one in this modern day and age. Because there used to be a time where we could agree to disagree on certain things.
Yeah.
But things have become so polarized that I have a hard time just saying, like, oh, you don't think gay people should get married? All right, we'll just agree to disagree.
Yeah, it's hard to walk away from that conversation, saying, yeah, well, we're good, blah, blah, blah. This has become a hot topic for the last few years of pronouns, stuff like that. So many people I know in my life and people that I love are like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to try with the pronouns. And, why should I have to do it for you? Well, it goes back to compassion and empathy, but also respectful communication of like, what skin off your back is it? And most people will say like, well, if I make a mistake. No, if you're trying to do the right thing, then people will notice that and understand your faults. But if you're not trying, they also see that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, Neo, my firstborn, who is non-binary, if you make the effort, doesn't matter if you screw it up. That's all they care about. It's those that are just like, nope, not even going to try. This is all bullshit. Like, so, yeah, I mean, respectful communication, there's a complete void of that on the right-hand side of this country. I mean, that's an understatement, to say the least.
Completely.
Does it count, though, if you don't put things like, people put on their email, signature on the email? I don't put my pronouns because it's not something I'm concerned about.
No,
I don't think so. That doesn't matter.
Okay.
No. I even think those that put, he, him, or whatever, like you're stating the obvious if you're a man. So doing it just to be, feeling like you're politically correct is probably a little pandering, actually. But if someone goes out of their way to tell you, like, I prefer they, them, then you should probably make the effort.
Oh, well, that part I'll engage in. The other part of it, I just don't feel it necessary to state my pronouns.
Sure.
But I will most definitely use what that person prefers.
I will tell you on my dating apps of late, because they all have that option now. I didn't fill it out on any of them because.
Yeah, me neither.
It seems redundant.
Exactly what Bruce you just described. That is respectful communication. Like you're respecting somebody. My brother works at a place, there's somebody non-binary there, and my brother calls them they, them, and at one point made a mistake. Okay. This person jumped down his throat and was like, you're a piece of trash. And, my pronouns are they, them, not she. I'll tell you this, with older people, my brother is 60, trying to do the right thing in respectful communication, that scares people out of wanting to be respectful when you jump down their throats like that.
No, you're hurting the cause for sure. And that's not respectful communication. So
right.
It goes two ways.
Exactly.
Solid point, gentlemen. These are unmistakable signs that someone is a genuinely good person. Strength in standing up for what is right. Good people always have the courage to stand up for what they believe in, even when it's difficult. They advocate for justice and equality, even when it means speaking out against the majority. They challenge unfairness and discrimination, and they don't shy away from difficult conversations. Their strength inspires others to fight for what's right.
Silence is violence. At some point, every progressive cause is not popular. Even Obama at one point was like, I don't think men should be getting married. Like, I think it should stay traditional. Like, people have to evolve. You got to push the envelope. You got to try to awaken people. If you're going to be woke, you have to be woken up sometimes.
Again, if we're talking about the whole MAGA crowd, though, this is something that, like, standing up for what's right. Like, that it's not right, some of these things that you're doing at the very core. If you step back outside of your bubble, some of these things like Roe v. Wade is not right. Stand up and say something about it. You don't have to say oh, I want an abortion. But you have to stand up and say, we live in America. Every woman should have health care when it comes to their bodies. Come on.
There's an easy group mentality. I mean, almost every movie we've seen about, the black guy joining the football team or whatever, the team is always against it and always bashing. And then there's the one white dude that stands up and is like, this is wrong. We got to support this guy. And then that starts to open the floodgates. So someone's got to stand up. And I remember when we were doing the show on the Buzz back in Seattle, I did a whole thing about, marriage equality, gay marriage and all that, because it was a cause I personally believed in because of my aunt and my cousin. And Sergeant Hair Club pulled me aside one day. It was just like, why are you doing this gay marriage stuff, man? I mean, it's not popular.
Really?
Like, you got other stuff to talk about. Wow. It's just like, no, I'm not going to be silenced because you just think I could be talking about something less controversial. Like, you got to mainstream things to make any difference.
Unmistakable signs that someone is genuinely a good person. Humility and selflessness. Truly good people are free from arrogance and self-importance. They acknowledge their own limitations and are open to feedback. They don't brag about their accomplishments and are genuinely happy for the success of others.
Listen, I don't go bragging about my salary or something, but I don't know. I've always said there's a fine line between confidence and cockiness. I tend to tiptoe back and forth across it, but I don't know. Part of it is this thing we do in this world.
Yeah.
Putting a microphone in front of my face. How can I not be verbose and outspoken?
That's right. Yeah, it's just part of it. Do you brag to people constantly?
No, I don't.
You have a lot of good humility.
I think if anything, I mean, I might reveal too much about myself here and there. A little TMI, but not a bragging type person, not at all.
Yeah. I think all of us have our self-deprecating humor outweighs any humble brags that we do. So
yeah. Okay. Well, another one we made. Unmistakable signs, ladies and gentlemen, that someone is genuinely a good person. This is important on my list, and it happens to be on this one. Loyalty. Loyalty is a cornerstone of strong relationships. Good people are loyal to their friends, family, and commitments. They stand by people when they care about them through thick and thin. They keep their promises and can be counted on to offer support and encouragement. I can't tell you, to me, I don't know, loyalty may be one of the most important things in a relationship. I'm not saying like you can never say like you're acting poorly, but like loyalty to a friend and somebody that you love and care about, I think is really important.
Absolutely. I would argue all three of us are loyal by definition, that we've been doing. I mean, I know we had a big gap in the show, but we've all stuck together. We're back doing it. We wanted the three of us doing this.
Yes.
I believe, don't we have an element on the show talking about my loyalty?
And one of the opens that we haven't played.
Oh, yes, that's true. Yeah, we do. You're one of the most loyal. That's what we do talk about.
Right. And I honestly, I do feel I am loyal to my employees, to my family, to anyone I give a crap about. It's actually become an issue in my therapy where I, as a principal, ever since I became a dad in particular, I put everyone in my life ahead of me.
Yeah.
And my therapist has had to tell me it's the thing on the airplane where you got to put the mask on yourself first, because if you pass out, now you're not helping anyone else. And I was always like, no, I put the masks on everyone else first, and then I'll get to myself.
You are an incredibly loyal person. Both of you are. I was talking to somebody, we were talking about all the crazy shit that's going on with Trump and bloodbath and all that. And she was talking about that a lot of her LGBTQ friends and people that she has in her life are planning actually on moving this time if Trump is reelected. And we were talking about it, and I made a comment. I was like, Rachel always talks about, like, let's move to London, dude. Let's get out of here for a while. She said, yeah, really? You want to move to London? I said, I can't move. No. I can't move. And she was like, why? And I said, my mom, I can't move. Yeah. She was like, you can, you won't, because you're too loyal.
Right.
And that's exactly, I was like, yeah, I guess I can, but I wouldn't,
Yes. My therapist has said that to me a million times too. I've been debating, like, I could get radio jobs all over this country, probably make way more money and all that stuff, but I'm not abandoning my kids who I live in the same town with and have right. Time. And my therapist said, well, you could do that, but you just won't.
Yeah.
But don't say that you can't do it, because others do and others have, including my own father, quite frankly.
So. Right? Yeah. I will highlight Brewski's loyalty in respects to the last time I came into town. He was the first person I saw at the airport. That also poses as loyalty. Someone who comes and picks you up at the airport, gets you to your destination, and takes care of you for a week. We hadn't seen each other in years. These are people in your life that you're loyal to, that you show up for time and time again, even when it's inconvenient. Yeah. Accountability and responsibility is on this list. Good people take ownership of their actions, both positive and negative. They don't shy away from admitting mistakes or taking responsibility for their shortcomings. They're accountable for their words and deeds, and they strive to learn from their experience. This willingness to take responsibility fosters trust and respect as it's demonstrated in their maturity and integrity.
Mm-hmm. Listen, as soon as I'm wrong, I'll admit it.
You will?
I'm wrong. All right, someone mark it down. I was wrong.
Oh, okay. I guess you
getting
do.
back to therapy yet again, I've always said that therapy works if you're willing to own your shit and then work on it. It's that first step that so many people can't do. They can't own their shit.
It's hard.
Oh, it definitely is. But, and in all seriousness, like as much as I joke about always being right, the times I feel that I am wrong with a relationship or whatever, like I will own it. But I used to tell my ex-wife, like, I'm only going to sit here and argue with you if I feel I'm right. And that's not an arrogance thing. It's a principled stand I'm making. But as soon as I realize I'm in the wrong, I have learned that is the quickest way to diffuse something. I got in trouble here at the radio stations in Tahoe when I first started working there. And the boss was so pissed off at me. Some caller called in and was mouthing off, and I went back at them like we did on the vocal minority and all that. I was trained to attack listeners.
Yeah.
And, this person sent the email that I sent to them and called the general manager and narked on me. And I was wrong. And I went in there and the GM was ready to tear my head off. And I told her, I was wrong. You're right. I was wrong. And she was like, but I just, you can diffuse it so easily. But I said, I'm wrong. I own it. I'm wrong.
Yes. There's not much left to talk about after that.
Exactly.
So accountability and responsibility, you got to have that to be genuinely a good person. Next thing on the list is always learning and growing. Good people possess a genuine curiosity about the world and a thirst for knowledge. They're always striving to learn and improve themselves. They're open to new ideas, experiences, self-help books. Simply strike up a conversation with people from different backgrounds. Their lifelong learning journey keeps them engaged with the world and allows them to become well-rounded individuals.
Yes, which the MAGA crowd fails spectacularly at. It's the progressive versus conservative. Conservatives, by definition, want to conserve. They don't want to change. They don't want to adapt. Whereas progressives, by definition, we are looking to push things forward and to take in new information. And I've also said on the show before that as liberals, if you can give me some facts that will go against what I'm saying, I will be open to that. And I will amend, I will own my shit. But conservatives are not open to facts, new information, or anything like that. They don't want their beliefs challenged with things like logic and facts.
Nope, they do not. They are real comfortable where they are and don't want to expand. And there's a lot of people like that. I feel like I could be better at this one. I mean, I feel like I'm always learning and growing, but I feel like I have enough time on my hands to learn more. I don't know. Maybe I need to seek out a variety of different knowledge, just to learn more about what's happening around me. Maybe I could be better at it.
Well, you're plugged into the news cycle, though, and that's so much more than most people are. You're taking in new information, new facts in real time. People that tell me, like, I'm just not into the news. I'm like, how that makes no sense to me. Yes, that is real life unfolding in front of you. How can you be not into the news?
I just can't live like that myself.
Yeah.
I have family members that will tell me, well, you just like take a break, step away, or, just read the good news. And I need to know what's going on, good or bad, because life is good or bad. You get both on a daily basis. You don't get all the good stuff every single day. You just don't.
You want to be in reality, and I understand both ways. I mean, there are times where I got to unplug for a week. All this information can and does make people very anxious in their lives, and it's not always good for our physical health. So I understand saying, like, I got to unplug for a week. I got to do that, but then jump back in.
That's balance and moderation, which every aspect of our life needs balance. But
Yeah.
ignorance is only bliss for the ignorant.
And I also feel empowered.
T-shirt.
I feel empowered when I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Because knowledge is power.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the reasons on the show we've shied away from the Israel-Palestine thing, because at least Nick and I have admitted, like, I don't feel like I know enough about the topic to really have a staunch opinion on it. I know it's nuanced, I know there's a lot of history, but I'm not going to just bullshit for the sake of bullshitting, because I know what I don't know.
I have jumped into it a little bit, but it's always about the points that I've researched.
If you want to be an unmistakable, genuinely good person, you will show signs of being a positive influence on people. The actions of good people have a ripple effect, for crying out loud. They inspire others to be kind, compassionate, generous. Their positive energy is contagious. They'll uplift those people that they are around. I've got people in my life that I constantly say when I leave them, I feel better, because there's some people who exude that, just that feeling of like, I'm hopeful. I see the world in a new light. Like, you have people that are a positive influence showing you that you can make changes. We can do this. Those people are great to be around.
Yeah. You're one of them. I don't know if you figured that out yet. That's what everyone says about Nikki, that, you're a good guy. It's fun to hang out with you. You're easy to talk to. My kids have said it. Coworkers have said it. I mean, you just exude that. And you give a little yin and yang to me being the perpetual asshole that everyone keeps saying I am.
Yeah. Well, they just haven't got close enough to you. That's humbling to hear you say that. That's nice to know. And I think that we all on this program have a degree of positive influence of showing people what's possible, not only on a large scale, but just in our daily lives of doing the right thing, being loyal and nice and good to people and fighting for marginalized communities. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Positive influence. You want to be a good person? Try it sometime. You might like it.
I would argue that's at least a part of what we're doing with this show. Fight for the things we believe in, and we tend to believe in progressive liberal things and helping out the little man and all that. And
once again, I mean, we're just genuinely good people, dude. What do you want us to say? You tuned into it. It's not my fault.
I recently had someone say that listening to the show, I can tell you're genuinely a good person. And I was like, I think you're messing my voice up, Nick. People say we sound good.
That's funny, dude.
You both sound so similar. I can't tell you apart sometimes.
Yeah. People used to say that. Steve made a point that I think that we do fairly good at identifying who's talking on this show. So they knew it was you, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Don't sell yourself short.
Like, if we weren't such good broadcasters pointing out who each other are, I could get away with saying, no, Nick said that. But
right.
Yeah.
And the term influencer has gotten a real negative rap because it's, so many douchebag TikTokers or whatever influencing you on makeup or society, but being an actual good influencer like an Obama or like any sort of positive role model, that's a good thing. So,
yes. Last one I want to point out is important: gratitude and appreciation. To have gratitude in your life for the things that you have, and appreciation for some of the people that help make that possible, well, makes you a genuinely good person. I hate hanging around people who are always like, yeah, don't have this, and this fucking sucks. Like, oh, God, you're just pulling the life out of me. Have some gratitude. And I understand we can't have it all the time, but try.
I think, especially in the dark times, you got to look to the positive. Yet another therapeutic thing I've been force fed to me over these last few years. There's been a lot of pain and misery, but my kids are healthy and happy. We're doing this podcast that I enjoy so much. I live in a beautiful place. Like, it really is beneficial to try to find the silver lining every now and again.
Sure. It's helpful. It is. So, there you go. Yeah, that is what it takes to be genuinely good. Now that we know that we're on the scale, at least.
Well, let's run through a few things, though, that all of us genuinely good people, these are apparently laws that all of us just regular average Joes are breaking on a almost daily basis.
I bet I break all of them, dude. That's I break a lot of laws.
Let's click through these, because are you a good person if you're breaking the law? It's
Breaking the law.
Breaking the law. Breaking the law.
Now, would you consider yourselves to be a litter bug?
No.
No.
But do you ever spit gum out on the sidewalk? because that's defined as litter in almost every city in America.
I don't, because I don't want to step in your gum, so I don't do it. I pick up my dog poop. The one fallacy that I will tell you that there is, maybe 5 times a year, I'll throw a cigarette butt on the ground.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably my biggest thing that I ever do with littering. I can't imagine throwing a fast food bag out the window or something like that. But
No.
not all the time, obviously, but maybe 4 or 5 times a year, I throw a cigarette butt when I just can't find a place to put it. And lately, I've been putting them in my back pocket, so,
I don't know about Seattle. You do that stuff here where we live in a forest. I think the ticket's like $800 if they catch you throwing a cigarette butt out the window.
Oh, I would never throw them down lit, but I'll put it out, and stomp it out and then leave it on the ground.
I don't think it matters here if it's lit or not. Just throwing the cigarette butt out the window.
Yeah, it's bad all the way around. Yeah.
Yeah. Brewski, would you ever spit out gum or do you litter?
I don't really chew gum, and if I'm done chewing my gum, I'll actually, if I'm driving in the car, I'll find a wastebasket, someplace to spit it out. If I'm walking, if I'm in the car, I'll grab a napkin out of my center console and I'll spit it into there or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm pretty good about it. I don't chew gum much, so I can't do that. I don't smoke. I mean, if sharing my pubes with nature when I shave outside, if that's littering, then
That's recycling, actually.
Yeah, that is. Yeah,
it's
you're good.
repurposing. So
Yeah.
All right. These are laws common people break on a daily basis. Leaving your car idling. Now, certain cities have ordinances about this, that you can leave your car idling for a couple of minutes, but if it's 5-10 minutes longer than that, like you're polluting the environment at that point. And certain cities, that is against the law to leave your car idling.
Yeah. I try not to make a habit of it. If I have a 5-minute window, there are times that I'll sit in my car in the parking lot and start it up, and sit for 5 minutes and listen to something or send a few texts before I leave. But I would never do it for much longer than that. And I don't know if it's for the right reasons. I mean, I don't do it because I don't want to waste gas.
Right.
So,
Brewski, you're an Uber driver, so how often do you idle?
Well, my car has auto stop start, which is really kind of a pain in the ass a lot of times.
You mean like when you hit the brake at a red light, the engine shuts off?
yeah.
If it drops below 1,000 RPMs, then it'll shut off. Yeah, exactly.
My car does that too. When I first bought it, no one told me that. I thought my car was breaking down in every intersection.
But we actually had a woman when I worked at a Mercedes store who actually brought the car back and was saying, you know what, it keeps stalling out on me. What did you sell me? And they had to explain to her the stop start feature. But other than that, no, I don't.
Yeah.
If I go someplace, if I'm eating something, my car is shut off. I'll park the car. I'll shut my car off.
You're a professional driver, dude. Of course he's not going to idle. Come on. He's professional.
I had an incident a couple of years ago when my kids were in elementary school. There's a pickup line at the end of the school day, and all the parents line up. And then as kids start to get picked up, you all start moving forward through the line. And I was sitting there with my engine idling because I was in the line and school was out, kids were coming out, and some parent came and knocked on my window. It was like, "You need to shut your car off. You're polluting the environment right now." And I wasn't going to get into them with him, so I just like, okay, I shut my car off. But then, doesn't it actually cause more emissions if you're turning your car on and off, on and off, on and off in the same 5-minute window?
The way that the auto stop start feature on the car, the way that it's been engineered, it doesn't use more gas to restart it because it's not totally shut off.
Right.
Yeah.
There's gas still sitting there ready to go.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know. That's a good question. Were you irritated when that lady came up to you?
Yeah, I don't like anyone telling me what to do. But, I just felt it was unfair. We're in a line. We're all moving forward every 30, 40 seconds. You really want
to? Going to keep shutting it off?
Right. I didn't
it's hard on your motor.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't show up an hour early, and I was just sitting there with the engine running and the AC cranked or whatever. So.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe some places it's illegal. I wasn't aware of this one, but throwing snowballs with the intent of hitting a person is actually assault and battery. So, you ever chucked a snowball at someone?
Not anyone I didn't know. Do you?
Not at a stranger, no. I mean, but
oh, really?
I've caught people by surprise though, not in a snowball fight context. You're just, employee walking out to the parking lot, you chuck a snowball.
Oh, we used to throw snowballs at buses that went by us. Where I grew up, there was a big bus stop near our on the end of my street, and there was a big field, and we would all kind of hide there behind like a little snow fort we've made, and then the bus would come up, pick people up, and as the bus would go to pull away, everyone would jump up and start throwing snowballs at the bus.
But you were kids, right?
Yeah.
You're under 18. You
Yeah.
won't be doing any tie-in. So that's good. But yeah, apparently that's assault. Seems a little wussyish to me, but I don't know.
Well, you can't whip people with towels anymore either, Stephen.
Oh, rat tail. Those are
Rat
fun.
tail. Yeah.
Here's a law that I think if you've never broken this, you're a big nerd. Jaywalking. I mean, we all know jaywalking is illegal, but come on. I've crossed the street against not in the crosswalk a zillion times.
I'm one of those people that I think people who jaywalk are assholes because I am a professional. Like, I know when to jaywalk. You know, like I'm a good jaywalker. You're an idiot, you know. But yes, I jaywalk all the time.
If you guys came and drove with me here,
Yeah.
within a half hour, you'd be screaming, "What the fuck is that person doing?" Because people here, it's like an Olympic sport. It's like double parking. Double parking here is another one. That's an Olympic sport. And I'm telling you, they will, and they'll run out of nowhere. They'll just run across the street too. And then the worst is when there's a crosswalk a few feet away and they got kids and they're jaywalking. What are you teaching those kids, you know?
Yeah.
I hit a guy at Supercross once leaving the parking lot because traffic was all jammed up and we're on this little side street. Like I was out of the parking lot, but it was still jammed, you know, on those surface streets on the side.
Yeah.
And as the car in front of me moved forward, so I started rolling forward right as a guy walked in between the two cars. And I hit his knee and he looked at me and slammed on my hood. It was just like, you know, like I was the dick. Like you're walking in between two cars on a street. That is the literal definition of jaywalking.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, dude. The irresponsible jaywalkers suck, but I'm very good at it.
Yeah.
You know how many times I've wished on people, I hope you get hit by a car later on.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good karma. Karma.
That and 3 flats. I wish 3 flats on people.
What's 3 flats?
Like flat tires?
Yes.
Oh.
Not just one flat tire. They need 3 out of 4.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because 2 is a pain in the ass, but 3 ruins your day.
Yeah, that's true.
Makes sense.
3 flats.
Let's see. These are laws that people commonly break every day. And I think I've done this one every pet I've ever owned. Do you ever get a dog license for your pet?
Yes.
I just got a notice in the mail from King County that said I could be fined if I don't license my animals.
Yeah.
No, my dog and my cat are not licensed, dude. It's just more money to give to the man. I mean, they're not. They don't need a license. They're not driving.
Yeah, I never even knew that was a thing. I'm pretty sure Seattle is where I first heard about it because we had pets. And I was like, we're supposed to license these things? They live in my house.
That all came before microchipping became a thing.
Yeah, it's for if they go missing and the pound picks them up.
Because then if they have a collar with a tag on it, then they can say, okay, this dog belongs to so-and-so, and then they can reach out to that person. Yeah. Plus, that's another way for the city to make a few dollars off of you.
I was going to say, it's a money grab. Here's a topic that's come up on the show before, so I know everyone's answer, but you're breaking the law if you urinate in public.
No.
What does that mean, dude? Is my car considered public if I pee in my car? Like if I'm in the parking lot at the grocery store and I pee in my car?
I think if you're on private property, you're okay. So if you're peeing in your driveway or we know you pee in your yard all the time, that's okay. Now you could get busted for exposure if the neighbors see you, perhaps. But if you're peeing in your car when you're out on a public street, I think if someone can see you, that has to be public urination.
Oh, they can't see me, dude. I'm real stealth.
A little trucker lemonade.
Yeah.
But come on, how many times have we peed in an alley, the side of a bar?
Oh, geez, I do it at least 4 times a week.
Yes.
I told you guys, I have designated what I call pee spots in and around Boston because it can be 2, 3 in the morning. I'm driving. There's no place open for me to use the bathroom.
Right.
I have to find a dark place where I can pee and not get bothered by anybody.
Yeah.
Or seen by cameras, because there are cameras everywhere now.
Yeah.
I've done it a few times recently. I peed on the side of a warehouse in Reno. I was in Sacramento a month or so ago for that NBA date I had.
Yeah.
And, you say goodbye at the end of the night, and now we're like in some downtown corridor. I'm like, there's no bathroom around here, but I got to pee so bad.
Yeah.
So I drove to like the next exit on the highway, got off, went to a gas station, was like, hey, can I use your bathroom? And the gas station guy was like, we don't have a bathroom. I went and peed on the side of the gas station. Like, I had to go so badly.
I'll make my own.
What do you mean you don't have a bathroom? What gas station doesn't have a bathroom? So, yeah.
I told you what happened to my brother's brother. He was peed in public, and he got put on the sex offender registry for peeing in public.
Really? How was that a sex thing? Because you were exposing yourself, I guess.
Yeah, holding your dick, out in public, I guess, But yeah, he got put on the registry, and he went to work for PayPal, and they did the background checks, and he came up on the sex offender list, and he was able to explain and ended up getting the job. But yeah, he was on that list, dude, for peeing in public. So you got to be careful.
But here's the thing: have you ever peed in public with several strangers around you also peeing as well?
Yes. Yeah, I think I was with you.
No. I'm talking about my time in Paris. I was, after a night of drinking, it was on New Year's Eve 2000, and there's like 5-6 guys, everyone's just walking up to this one wall with like a grate down this alley, and they're all just peeing. And I'm just like, okay. And it got kind of weird, but there's all these dudes in France just like taking a leak right there, and just that communal experience,
Well, you know what they say in France, oui.
Oui, just wherever you are. I was in the casino, a week ago, and I was had to piss so bad. I've been drinking for 4 hours, and I've been holding it. I run into the bathroom, and I'm at the urinal taking a leak, and right behind me, dude, I feel hands on my shoulders.
Okay.
Oh, no.
And I hear someone say, "Stay right how you are." And I freaked, dude. I mean, I whipped around so fast, and it was a friend of mine, somebody that I knew and I didn't know, but
I assumed it was a Republican congressman or something.
Yeah, could have been, dude. I've peed with you, Brewski. We've peed with Jen and Rachel. We all peed in parking lots after a night out before, right?
Yeah. Over the international district, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Last one I'm going to throw out here, things that we all do that are actually illegal. And this is a debatable one. Research has suggested that 71% of people in relationships admit to looking at a partner's phone without their consent. And whatever your reasoning is, this is actually, what do they call it? It's quite illegal. Do it without your other half's permission, and you can run the risk of fines up to $250,000. And or time in jail by looking at someone else's phone. So, first question, have you guys ever done that?
No.
I have, and it's been a long time, younger person, but yes, I have.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never have. And I've actually told women before, like, look at my phone anytime you want. It's not locked. There's nothing I'm hiding on there. But I know it is pretty common that people do that.
I've had it done to me more than once.
I had no idea, though, that was illegal, that you could prosecute someone for that. I got some exes I should probably get thrown in jail.
Well, and here's the other thing is I actually had someone go through my email. I didn't sign out on the computer that we shared. Not only did she look at my inbox, but she went through everything, anything I sent, and then she started asking me questions about this, and this. And I'm just like, what are you doing? She's like, well, you didn't sign out, so it's fair game. I can go look all I want. Like, no, you can't.
That's bullshit. That's, you know what? When we're talking about loyalty and integrity earlier in the show, if I went logged onto a computer and any of you guys had emails up, I would definitely immediately sign out because it's none of my business, dude.
I've encountered that before with coworkers that I don't even think that highly of. I get into some computer, I'm like, no, I just sign out. Like, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
By the way, like, what if a peeping Tom said, like, well, you left your window shades open, I'm allowed to look.
So here's another one. Here's a real quick one for you. Years ago, before I moved to Seattle, I was dating this chick that almost moved to Seattle with me, and I dodged a bullet with that one. But I used to carry my courier bag around all the time, and it had my journal in it. And I was at her house, and I fell asleep, and she decided to go through my bag and found my journal. Now, my journal at the time had a big binder clip on it. She tried to tell me that she lifted my bag and my journal fell out of the bag and the binder clip hit the floor and it sprung open. And then she just happened to look at my journal. Trust was gone immediately at that point.
Yeah, that's some mental gymnastics, dude, to get there.
Even if it falls out in front of you, your eyes are not forced to absorb the knowledge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a fun discussion of who's good, who's bad. I guess we'll leave it up to you individuals out there. But if you're voting for Trump, you're a bad person. I'll just tell you that right now. So.
You're just a blanket
Just cut
statement.
to the chase right there.
Right.
Well, let's see if we can get it certified.
That's a fact.
All right.
Indeed. So, mystery solved. Find
Hey,
us
see-
on the interwebs, thevocalminority.net, and social medias galore.
Yes, please go check them out and call our comment line 844-48-VOCAL. Thank you for listening to the podcast, and we'll be back again next week with a couple. Until then, be good. Please say goodbye.
Hasta la vista.
And we say bye-bye.
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
Check. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Nick Reynolds, Steve Harness, and Cousin Brewski. The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Take one.